About It, the podcast where we talk about any and everything in otaku culture. I'm your host, Shelby.
I'm your co-host, Lawrence.
And with us, we have some very special guests.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from Stephanie's from Cosplay.
What is up, everybody? I'm Ellie Cosplay. Just call me Ellie.
Pleasure to have you guys here. Steph,
Thanks for having me again.
so today we are going to get into the feels a little bit. I know a couple episodes ago when we had you on Steph, we talked about what is cosplay to us. And today we're going to try and get into it, into the unspoken shadow of the cosplay community, of someone else
You take the lead.
That people don't necessarily want to address, at least in public. It's something that I feel, at least behind closed doors.
It definitely goes on in here.
Yeah, it's something that people think about. It's definitely something that's considered, even though it isn't outright spoken on public platforms. I feel like a lot of the time, friends behind closed doors or conventions will sometimes discuss these things. Does get brought up, and I feel like everyone has different feelings.
Yeah, it is very different, but also depends on like the people as well.
What about for you guys? If you see someone on the convention floor doing the same character, what goes through your head when you see that?
Well, I think that there's generally more or less, two reactions. You can either react positively or negatively. And I think it's always better to react positively. Obviously that's the one that most people are going to be pushing for, because you don't necessarily want to be in theory, because like you can, stepping back from so I feel like a lot of people would say that they would be friendly, but don't actually necessarily behave very friendly when they see someone else. They'll, when they make eye contact, turn really quickly and pretend that they didn't see them. Because that's something that like I have experienced, where if I see someone who is cosplaying the same thing, they're not very welcoming. They'll turn away really quickly, or if I avoid eye contact. Which is, it's
It's very strange. It's very strange. It's just like I've been listening to like, oh, I see that character, and they look at me and one second, and they're like, oh,
yeah, they kind of.
I still know I saw you. Why are you playing?
I feel like it should definitely be more like, I think it's like way more fun when you see someone else and you're like, hey, like across the room, because you both know you love the same character. And I think that it's something that deserves to be celebrated rather than turning into sort of competition. Like, oh God, another person wearing the same costume.
No, but it's okay, so that's not
Oh my God, I thought there was just that's canon. Yeah.
To an actual gathering or a con, it's like you go there, you're going to see tons and tons of people, some of which may be dressed up as the same character as you are, and it's almost like there's really
Well, see,
nothing
then
to-
I feel like that's why some people are like, oh, I'm gonna cosplay the, obscure character that you saw in the background of episode 12 for 2 seconds, because no one else will do that.
Yeah.
Well,
the
there-
extra.
Yeah.
but there are people that do that. There are people that do. It's
Yeah.
just it's not well known.
I think this like topic arises because like people in the community like to character claim.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to like talk about that first, character claiming.
Okay, well, what is character
would you like
claiming?
Why
Define the
that-
term.
Define.
Well, like character claiming is like it speaks for itself just by the name. Well, just by the description, character claiming. You're as a cosplayer, you claim to be that character, like that role, and I get it because cosplay is along the lines of role playing. So you feel that is your role, and therefore, if you see someone else, you might feel like a competition,
Threatened.
Yeah,
threatened that your
I think
role
is
is
a good
being attacked or
Yeah.
something like that.
or like you two shouldn't exist in the same space because it's not canon.
My skin just gets a little ruffled when that happens because it's like, who really cares?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're not in the anime.
Exactly.
Or the
No.
game
Yeah.
or whatever.
I think. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, plus also, you're not the one that came up with this character.
Yeah.
You aren't the creator of this character. You know, this character is here for everyone to enjoy. It's not just for one person. You know, if someone was going to do that, then there's no way this stuff would have ever been published.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree a lot, and like exactly like what Ellie said. As the creator of whatever fandom, wherever, right? They created that story, and they want everyone to enjoy it. So I think character claiming takes away from that.
But what if they're like, just to play devil's advocate, what if they're like the official cosplayer of so and so? Like they are paid by the company to cosplay said character.
I feel like even though they are paid, because I know a few people that are paid, I don't think.
They're counted as the canon, character.
You mean like they are acknowledged by the company
Yeah.
that makes it, that publishes it? I think in a way that's
Do
like
they have
some.
a right to claim it?
No, I don't think so, because then in a way it's still like, it's like Chris Evans saying he's the real Captain America, and
Yeah.
he's not.
Yeah.
He's not?
Wake up, dude. No,
We were
but
lied.
it's very similar to that, where I guess it comes back to like the individual, where you just have to understand that you're just playing a role, and anyone can play that role, and it's for the fandom, for everyone to express their love for that character.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important and valid point. I feel like ultimately at the end of the day, a lot of it boils down to how insecure or how secure the cosplayer feels about themselves. Because, I mean, I personally believe that a lot of character claiming comes from a space of insecurity in the person, where they feel like their cosplay isn't good enough, and that's why they feel threatened.
Character claiming?
Yeah,
I
kinda
wouldn't
feel
say
like it.
character claim. I think maybe that comes when you see someone on the floor and like you don't acknowledge them. I think that would come from insecurities.
But
Yeah.
not
That one
character
for sure.
claiming.
Because like as soon as you see
Character
someone,
claim is,
I feel like it's like human nature to like be competitive and compare your craft with theirs. And so then if you feel insecure, like you didn't do, a good job, or don't like your seams or something, and you see them, then you don't want them to acknowledge that as well. So that's why you turn away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that a lot of that can fall under like assumptions too, and people's insecurities, because it's like, oh, I don't want them to see how bad of a job I did, when in all actuality, the best thing to do, like if you see someone that has really nice scenes and stuff of the character you really like that you're doing, there is no harm with going up to them and asking them for tips. If you want to get better, if you want to improve, there is no harm in seeing someone that's cosplaying the character you're doing. Just go and ask for advice, toss ideas around, and if they sadly are not, because who knows, they may or may not be friendly in giving advice, because I have asked people specifically, like, oh, I really like that character, I plan to do that character, can you tell me, like, what tips can I do? And they would just be very vague and not really answer my question.
I feel like that's rooted in insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure insecurity. And
I feel like it's creative
Or
insecurity.
like pride too. Like
Yeah.
you don't want someone taking your method or your way
But
of
that's
doing things.
the method, and like, oh, I came up with this. I think in the creative aspect, that's the silliest thing.
Yeah.
Because like, we're all humans, and like we all are creative individuals. If you come up with it, probably someone else came up with it, and it's not like a patent kind of deal. So I think in a way, coming from insecurities, I think I was thinking about this when you guys were talking about like seeing someone on the floor and then not coming up to them. I think in a way it's kind of like sports, where if I was the football team and I saw another football team, at a meet, it would be like, oh, kind of like competitive, because that goes without saying, like we would be competing. And I think in a way, as humans, we do like to compete, but at the same time we don't like to be compared.
Yeah.
So because this character exists in the same space as us, like in cosplay, you are aware that people can see side by side, and side by side is the
compare,
best
yeah.
comparison. So I think a lot of people avoid that situation, to be like side by side.
I would agree with that.
And I
Maybe
know
to like embarrassment or
that.
something.
And I do know some people like to come side by side with you, because they do like to be. They're competitive. Like that's when competition beats the insecurity. Because some people have come up to me like side by side,
I'm just like, oh, look I did this better.
Yeah, or not necessarily like that, but I feel like in a way, not that it could be, and that's perfectly fine. Competition is fine. I love competition. I'm a competitive person, but in a way, it's more like I feel like those that don't step up to you are like insecure, like Steph said, and those that do step to you, they're friendly, but in a way they're like competitive too. Like, oh, I'm good too. Like, let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe competitive, or maybe I feel like there could be some confidence factored into it as well, that maybe they just feel good about their work and they don't feel so insecure that they're afraid to come up to you. Because I feel like if I saw a cosplayer, like for example, Alice and Tabitha did Aranea, but if I was dressed as Aranea and she was dressed as Aranea, obviously her Aranea is better, but like I admire her as a person and I'm confident enough in my work that I feel like I would be able to approach her, and it wouldn't come from a place of like insecurity or competitiveness, because I acknowledge I acknowledge that she's better, and like because like she has more skill and she like took more time to make it and everything, but there would be no competitiveness or no insecurity.
Work inspired you, and you would just be like, hey, can I show you what I did because you inspired me?
Yeah, well, and I feel like confident enough in my work. Like, I mean, I don't feel 100% confident in Aranea. It's not my best work, but I feel like it's like no matter what, my work is my work, and I feel confident in what I've done, that I don't feel embarrassed to approach anyone
It's a good mindset.
about my work.
Plus, you're always improving. With every new project, you're always improving.
Yeah.
Even the people that get like are supposedly hired by the companies to look like a specific character, like they're still improving with their work and whatnot. No one's really better than them. So it's like, hey, we're all artists, we're all creative, we're all growing in our own way.
Yeah. Go ahead. Did you want to ask me?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that like ultimately I do think it comes down to expressing your creativity, and that if you see someone doing the same thing who shares the same passion for that character, like it should be a positive interaction. Like a
connection.
Like, oh my gosh, you love them too, like so much too.
You
like
got a twin.
Yeah.
But it's even funnier like for individual. Like, this is kind of from personal experience because I have patterns and I sell them online. So there's like a ton of Bakugos that I know that are my pattern.
I recognize that.
But like it's so odd for me sometimes to be walking around and then not have them come up to me and say hi to me, or like they would. Like at Crunchyroll, I saw someone. I said, "Hey, did you make this pattern off of Lawrence Highway?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's me." But it was like, this person had seen me but had not come up to me. So I think in a way, but it's not to say that I'm saying this person is like coward. I think in a way they're more like shy.
That's also like a factor as well. I think that's important to consider.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily like all the things that we've talked about. That could be true. But since we're on the topic of cosplay,
we're just making assumptions here.
Yeah.
So these are
it's
all
not
like
fact.
these are all things that could come about. But I think another
but
topic
nothing
that we should talk about same cosplay is like what happens when you do same cosplay in a group.
Yeah, or like
That's
as your
different.
friend.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's different with a friend, because if like you and your friend pick the same, like I have actually a friend that also wants to be Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter, and I want to be Kurapika, and
do
we're
you
both.
pronounce the X?
You're not supposed to.
I know. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Just I feel
Called
like
out
it goes
on the
either way.
podcast. Called
out. Sorry.
I just close the book now. Oh, okay. No, but we're both kind of like, okay, let's see what we can come up with, and it's kind of like a little fun competition we were kind of hoping to put on, but at the same time, we definitely put our cards on the table and being like, we're just doing this for fun. We both love this character, no hard feelings, right?
Yeah.
And we're just like, yeah, we're fine.
That's
we're cool.
good.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go about it if
I
you're
agree.
doing it with a friend, because like, human nature is to compare. Like if you do it as your friend and like maybe you do better or they do better, it's going to build some sort of
Tension.
in the friendship, unless you like address that up front, like, hey, like,
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
know you want to do this, but I want to do this too. Is that okay? Like, are we cool? Like,
I think I agree with Shelby. Like just bringing up the topic and like communicating with like, because this idea of like tension does surface when you have the same cosplay among friends. So I think it's good to be able to, like, the whole point of this podcast is to be able to like open this up for everyone else, so because everyone's thinking it, and just be like, hey, just communicate.
Just say it.
Yeah.
It's very similar to like friends liking like the same girl or something, or like the same guy or whatever, whoever you're into. But it's very similar to that, and it's just like, hey, I can tell that you like this, blah blah blah. How do you want to go about doing this?
Yeah. And I think even then, if you open up the conversation, you can help each other. And like,
Yeah.
that'll take away a lot of the, oh, his is better than mine, like, kind of thing. Because you're like, oh, well, I helped him with this, he helped me with that. So it's more of a friendly endeavor.
It's a cooperation.
A cooperation. So I have a question. When you approach a friend about a cosplay that you're both doing, who do you choose to approach and who do you not approach? Like, how do you determine how close you are with a friend enough to approach them? You know? Because, like, you have acquaintances in the cosplay community that you don't know very well. What if they happen to do the same character as you and you didn't know that they did? Or, like, what if later on they do a character that you're doing? Like, how do you determine how close are you with people that you would discuss? Is it, like, your immediate cosplay family that you would talk to? Is it someone you're getting close with? Is it when you happen across the information that you both happen to be cosplaying the same character? What do you guys think?
I mean, definitely if it's in, like, your immediate, like, cos fam. Like, the people that you go out to conventions with, you're staying in the same hotel with. Like, you definitely should bring it up because you don't want to, like, get there, set your stuff down, and they'll be like, wait, I have a shoulder piece like that.
Yeah.
Are you doing this character? Because that would just be awkward. But with acquaintances, or, like, people you know, just, like, wave at during cons.
Is it like if you're doing, is it like, let's say you're doing a group and people are doing, like, oh, we're getting a group together, these characters are available, and it's like, oh, well, what about this character? Oh, well, we already have somebody interested in that part, but you can talk to them if you want to, you know, try to, you know, maybe you'll take the part and maybe they'll switch out if they're open to suggestions or something like that.
I feel like that's a little different because that is in a group, and group settings are a little bit different because the way that groups technically, the way that they operate is like
one of each.
Yeah, it's like a play where people audition for parts in a sense, but it's just kind of like you just say like, oh, I want this person, and you tap in, and that's how you join the group. I just mean like in general. Let's say you meet like on the convention floor and they're wearing the same character as you, but you're acquaintances.
I would say no, because it's like you're not close enough with them. Like the only commonality you have is that you see each other at conventions and you talk about those things, but like outside of cons you maybe don't interact. So then I would say you wouldn't.
You wouldn't talk about it? Or what?
I wouldn't send them a message and be like, hey, like we're both going to, you know.
So, but I mean, wait, but it sounds like you guys are saying that it's not okay to cosplay the same character.
No, it is.
No, it's fine.
So
it's
just
totally fine.
It's good to celebrate that.
Okay, my bad. I was misunderstanding. So you're saying
we're saying should you reach out to avoid the tension in the relationship?
Yeah. That's the question. Yeah, like you would bring it up with a close friend. That's kind of like a given. But then, what are the conditions for you, like beforehand, knowing that you're both cosplaying the same character?
So what are the conditions for us that we would actually speak up about it?
Yeah, I think like, is it like if you're friends with someone on Facebook and they say that they're, and you know, maybe you're not so close to them, but if they post that they're doing a character and you're like, oh hey, like I'm planning on doing that character too, would you jump in right away, or would you just kind of like, would you stay quiet if it just so happened that they were taking a cosplay that you had done to an event that you're not wearing that costume to? Like,
I see. Honestly, I really think it depends on the person, because there are some people who will jump on that and be like, hey, you know, I did that last time, you know, or they can be like, good job for you, or oh, hey, I did it, you know, that's awesome. You know, maybe that could be a starting of a new friendship there with someone who wasn't so close. With someone who you're really close with, at least for me, I'm all for like, yes, let's do it together, let's be twins and stuff like that. But if it's an acquaintance, I don't really mind. I don't mind at all. I would just probably, I would or I wouldn't address it. It really depends on like the time of day, I guess. Like if someone else right now, one of my acquaintances that I knew was being like, oh, I'm also doing Konami for Sakura Con. It's just like, oh, hey, so am I. Do you want to meet up and talk, you know? It really, I think it all boils down to the person and how the individual actually chooses to handle that.
Yeah, if they're like aggressive or not about it, or like possessive about the character or their cosplay.
Well, actually, yeah, true. But how do you guys feel? Has that ever happened to you guys, actually?
Oh boy.
Because this is, okay, so now we've covered the topics, and you guys listen, you guys know the context. Has that ever happened to any of you guys where you guys have to?
I have a story.
Yeah. Okay. I like stories.
Yeah.
Story time.
Not necessarily about myself, but there is someone that I know, and they.
You can use fake names.
Okay.
Sam.
I'll just do. I guess there's
Generic.
there's generic names. I was like, I could do like person A and person B, but I guess we could use generic names. But we can use Sam. Sam likes to do this one character, but so does Jenny. And Sam wants to be a part of this group, but so does Jenny. But Jenny was informed first, so Jenny got the role first. But Sam feels possessive over the character. So Sam made it clear that they don't like being a duplicate, but then got offended that they weren't asked to join the group in the first place because they feel like they've made it explicitly clear that they consider themselves like the best cosplayer
canon.
for they consider themselves, especially in their group of friends, the canon for that character. So they're offended that they weren't asked to join the group, but also were offended that they weren't like the first pick, and they were offended like on every level.
The
they
other
were
person wouldn't switch. Or...
Yeah, because they were like, oh, I want you guys to ask me anyways if I'm not a part of the group, but they're also like, don't bother asking me if you don't have a spot open for me.
Get over yourself, Sam.
Yeah, there's situations
Sounds
like that
tough.
because it's like they character claim, and they're also very unhappy when other people love a character a lot, and then it causes tensions where other people are like, well, I want to do this character, but Jenny did this character and Sam was so unhappy about it. I don't even know if I want to bother doing this character because it scares people away.
Yeah, which I think is another problem with character claiming.
Yes.
I think
Just don't
Scares
character
people
claim. Just don't do
That's
it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun.
I have a
It's supposed to be
story
fun.
too.
Yeah.
I have a story. It's about Sam as well.
Oh, we're getting a lot out of Sam today.
Sam's Club.
Sam,
Oh my
Club.
God.
This
Oh
guy.
god, that's horrible.
We're not actually
Sam.
talking about an actual person.
And
We're
then-
using a name Sam as an example.
So I was going to this convention, right? And I was, there's this, like, the Harley Quinn Bakugo art that came about. And this person, Sam, had done a gender bend Harley Quinn.
Cool.
So I was like, well, sure, whatever. But I wasn't really into the Harley Quinn thing, but I really liked Bakugo, and I was on that Bakugo train. So when this
Doing all the
artwork-
outfits.
Yeah, so when this artwork was released, I was like, hey, that would be really cool to do a Harley Quinn Bakugo because I'm going to a comic convention anyways, versus an anime. So I think this would be a really cool mashup. So I like mentioned it on my story, and then like this person
Oh!
jumped in.
Now I'm remembering these pictures. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Hey!
Hey!
And then like, so this person, Sam, jumped in and said, hey, you know, da da da. I was like, couldn't you do like Deku? Because like it's like I had already told you I was doing this character. So to me, that's a complete character claim.
so
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
that's honestly
Why
kind
would
of
you
dumb.
ask? I feel like that's so asking someone else to change their plans because like
You had already
their
told them.
decision makes you uncomfortable. I feel like is
I feel like in a way,
It comes from the insecurity, like
yeah.
you said.
yeah.
that
I feel like
definitely
that's
spawns from
unfair. Like I understand. Like I feel as though it's like props to you for having the confidence to ask and be forthright with your feelings. But also that you're so
So
insecure
bold.
that you would
It is a
interrupt
bold move.
like that you would confront someone else who's just trying to be creative. Like they're doing it out of, you just want to do this version of Bakugo because you love Bakugo, but they're so threatened by your love for a character and insecure that they would tell you to change your mind. Just seems really
it's very, that's like the essence of character claiming, and that's when
and
it
that's
gets.
the insecurity I feel like that there's like a sense of threat where I feel like, because I mean with the craftsmanship, of course there's insecurity there, but I feel like it's an insecurity in you as a person if you character claim,
How
so?
in a sense that you feel like you have to claim this character because I feel like if you're threatened,
Like a matter of importance? Like, if you have something that is yours, then you kind of
it's almost like a territorial thing, and it's
Yeah.
like
It is very territorial.
and you don't want to
Like a
be like
dominance thing.
threatened,
Yeah.
but it's also just a fictional character. Like
It's like
It's they want to be recognized. I feel like people that character claim want to be recognized as the one and
I
only.
think that's the insecurity is that like if you do it, then they might fail to achieve that. that recognition that they so want, that praise that they so want, to be seen by, because it's a sense of validation I feel that they are seeking from other people. If they're character claiming, it's because they want everyone else to agree with them. Like, when you character claim, it isn't necessarily for yourself, it's so that everyone else around you recognizes that.
Yeah.
That's the point of character claiming. It's like, it's this act of like extreme dominance in the cosplay community that is unfun for everyone around you, because it's a very selfish thing.
Yeah.
It's very, and I feel like that's so insecure.
It is.
Yeah, it
You
turns
know?
people away rather than
Exactly.
give you the
It
It does
attention
the
that you want.
opposite
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
they wish could happen.
Yeah.
When it all boils down to is just, this character, one, is not yours.
Yeah.
Two, there are a lot of people that know this character as well, that loves to dress as this character and adores this character, and it's like, just three don't care too much. It's like,
Also,
Cosplay is for fun.
in a way, I think
Exactly.
the lesson for you guys that are listening on the other end, I think it's more like, if you're getting to the cosplay community and you're going to cosplay, just understand the territory is like, people will dress as the same character as you,
Yeah.
and don't be upset, because
Yeah.
and just, it's more like the sharing the love for the character.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole celebration
that
aspect.
needs to be on a shirt. Can you make
Block
a shirt
out
like
the
that?
haters.
Share,
Yeah.
share the cosplay.
Yeah.
Share the
Yeah.
characters.
Same cosplay, same
Cosplay is
love.
just like much more enjoyable, you know, if you're doing the same character as someone, if you're sharing your tactics, discussing your love for the character instead of snubbing each other, you know, like
Yeah.
the whole like building bridges, not walls. with other
Now,
cosplayers.
now I agree with all of that, but I think where like quote character claiming is okay. Now wait,
Whoa!
is when you
What?
do when you do a specific like artistic style or spin on like.
Oh, okay, I can
So
understand.
say like
yeah.
like Lawrence with your Kirishima, like it's not the canon Kirishima outfit. It's like you did a punk rock
Yeah.
kind of
Rock star.
feel to it. And if someone were to do that exact same, like, you know, same belt, same gear, same, you know, accessories, then I feel like that would be more of a bad on their part because they're copying your artistic spin.
I want an interjection.
Okay, go.
But this, okay, I agree with Shelby, but that depends on the individual to the individual. But I feel like in this,
Without permission. Okay, I'll say without
Yeah,
permission.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's an important
that is a
distinction as
very
well.
important
Yeah.
distinction.
that's true. I think in a way I would feel flattered because I was able to influence this other person to do it, and I understand. I don't go and play police, making sure like, oh, you could credit me, all that stuff. But if they do, it's like, it's cool, and I respect that, and like, go for it. I love it, because in a way I'm doing the same thing when I cosplay, because I'm cosplaying a character from, you know, like these artists like Hirikoshi, you know, without their, you know, I guess sharing their love for a character or like their design, we wouldn't have our, you know, the cosplay wouldn't exist. So in a way, I feel like that's the derivative. Someone cosplaying and my own take on it is like an artistic take of it, and I feel like I have hopes. I don't care if they credit me or not, but it's like I know as a person that that's mine creation, so that doesn't bother me.
I feel like it's a very interesting topic because it's like when you create something like cosplay, or if you draw something that's an artistic expression, and then if you recreate that yourself with cosplay, that in itself is another artistic expression. So it's like a weird, murky territory, I feel, because a lot of it is like you did create it, but the idea, it's the whole like, who owns the idea?
No, it's not the idea. It's like, yeah, well,
In a sense.
Creative Commons, like in
Yeah.
your copyright. Once in the United States, if you create something like original, like in your head, then it's automatically by Creative Commons. It is yours. It is your own. But what you do with it, like how you regulate it, that's up to you. So like I said, like I don't care so much, but the idea of it, like no one owns the ideas. Ideas can be copyrighted, but like I guess the style or the design is your own, and that is up to you as the artist, such as Hannah Alexander. That's up to her to determine what she wants of her work to be derivative work of it.
I mean, yeah, it comes down to the person and how they choose to handle that situation.
Well, actually, we went through a similar experience with that. Like, remember you were talking.
Huh?
You were talking about the someone did a Sailor Moon lingerie.
Yeah, there's like this piece of art on the internet that's like some Sailor Moon lingerie that's like really pretty, but the artist has explicitly stated that they don't want anyone cosplaying from it, due to like some personal reasons, which like makes sense. I mean,
No, well, that's
But I'm assuming people have cosplayed from it?
I'm not sure because they made it pretty blatantly clear, and I feel like the internet's the type of place where, especially with like artists, people are pretty on top of policing other people for the sake of artists. Like,
they are.
True.
especially if artists are pretty big, their fans that are loyal to them will stand for them. If you guys are familiar with the term.
White Knight.
Yes.
So it's like, even if they might not necessarily police, it's like there's people that are like fans of these artists that will police for them.
Yes.
That'll be like,
I have
hey, that artwork is this person's, you shouldn't do that. So it's like, if someone did cosplay from that Sailor Moon stuff, I'm sure, because it's pretty like known that the artist didn't want people cosplaying from it, that someone who's a fan of it knows that would be like, hey, you shouldn't cosplay from it, the artist doesn't want people doing that.
Yeah,
What?
that's,
Go ahead.
that's really cool of the fans to do that, because the artist did come out and say, I would appreciate, if that did not happen. Or it's like, if someone were to be like, oh, I would really appreciate if someone would not cosplay this character anymore because I want to do it. It's like, yeah, right, nice try. That's not gonna happen.
Different because they aren't the
different.
creator.
Yeah, because they are not the creator. Where it's like that artist, she claims that artistry that she drew, she doesn't want anything
it's
to
off
happen.
limits.
It's like, okay, all right.
That's true. Yeah, because she does have the right.
Yeah, she does.
Or she has the right to. But yeah, but more about character claiming. No, character claiming, can I say about like friends? I think for me, like I just want to share my story because like Phil does Bakugo, I do Bakugo, and like a ton of people I know, like their acquaintances do Bakugo. I mean, I don't really care.
It's a very popular character.
Yeah.
And I don't really like care so much to do. I feel like
You guys are
This
both
one-
really good Bakugos, by the
Thank
way.
you so much.
You both have different styles, which is very gorgeous to look at.
Thank you.
I just love going, man, they're so good. They do this character so well. I think it's just really awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I think in a way, like for everyone that's listening, it's more like you cosplay for yourself.
Yes.
Yes,
Number one.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's how it is. So like for me,
Overwhelming moral.
Yeah.
yeah, so I think everyone, like, in a way, because if you're focusing on what other people are doing, and that's going to influence what you're going to do, and then you're going to try to influence other people to do what they're going to cosplay. For example, what I'm saying is, like, if I'm going to be Bakugo, and this is, like, obviously I didn't do this, but, like, let's say, for example, if I was Bakugo and I was told someone else not to do Bakugo, that would be really silly, because that goes against what I was saying. I cosplay for myself, so it doesn't matter. Like,
What
if
other
someone
people
else
do.
was going to do Bakugo, and they told me not to do it, I would be like, I'm cosplaying for myself, not for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
like, so
you
you
focus on you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if this problem wouldn't exist if everyone just stuck to the idea of like, I'm cosplaying for myself.
Yeah, for your own enjoyment, happiness.
Yes.
Yes. So like considering that, going to cosplay, and don't let other people influence you to cosplay or like not to cosplay.
Yeah. No, definitely 100%.
Don't character
Do it for
claim.
yourself.
Claire.
Do it for yourself. Just
Do it
cosplay
for
for
yourself.
yourself.
Do it for yourself, don't
Do it for
character
the
claim.
vibe.
Yeah. I mean, you could character claim for yourself. Who cares?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like if you, and I feel like that's like fairly valid too. If like, if you really wanted to character claim in your own head,
Yeah. Then
that's your own headspace.
Yeah, like,
you
no one's
can
gonna
do
stop
what you
you.
want.
Yeah.
You could think the earth is flat, and if you kept it to yourself, that's fine. It's when you start like shoving your
There's a
opinions down other
society.
people's
Yeah.
throats. Well, that's a whole different thing. But
Exactly.
more or less, if you keep your opinions to yourself and you're not hurting people with it, like
Yeah.
they're your opinions.
Yeah,
You're entitled to your own opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
you do.
It's like
you.
you're more than welcome to share them, but be aware of what could happen. Because there are some people that will be like, oh, well, I really love this character. I really wish they didn't do this, but, I don't have a say in it, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for speaking up. Moving on.
What about when people overstep their boundaries? When you're both doing the same character and they walk up to you and they criticize a part of your costume.
Oh, God.
It depends.
Well,
Has that ever happened to you guys?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm such a noob. This guy right here, he's criticized my cosplay.
But I'm like your friend. And we weren't in the same costume.
That's where you draw the...
No, but we
Yeah,
have done the same
the
costume.
thing is that if you're friends, I feel like it's different. But it's like if you're at a convention and you
stranger,
see someone who cosplays the same character as you, and like they approach really friendly, but then they start critiquing your costume. What do you do?
I
Smile.
Smile and then walk away.
Smile and just go, thanks for the tip, bro. Bye.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
think
God.
because I don't know them, I don't think they have a
Right?
right to criticize me, because they like, and like vice versa, like if you don't know the person, you don't know how they'll take it, and like if they'll be combative or like, you know, you'll really hurt them. And I think that's not what the community is about. It's more about lifting each other up rather than breaking people down.
Okay, how about when someone asks you for criticism and then you give them your real opinion and they don't take it well?
Well, they asked for it. Jeez. I think if you're gonna ask for criticism, you should be open to all that entails and be able to take it.
That's true. Because if you set yourself up for that, it's.
I feel like sometimes people ask because they expect a certain answer.
It's like asking someone like, "Oh, punch me," and not expect to get hurt.
Yeah, like it's like you know what punching is.
Yeah.
You felt pain before.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something about character. I forget, but like we touched up like on a lot of things.
Yeah, I feel like we touched on a pretty great variety. Of like,
got really interesting.
Yeah.
I like.
Agreed.
Let us know if you guys like the more story.
Yeah. Or if you've encountered this yourself, what kind of happened, how you handled
your
it.
stories. Tell us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we will call that a wrap. Steph, Ellie, thank you guys for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fun.
Thank you guys.
We will talk again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Be nice to each other.